first National Park Service job was at the Kennedy Birthplace in Boston.
Oh, very
It's
cool.
actually Brookline.
You know, I've never been to the Kennedy Library in Boston. I really want to go. But every time I go back with my family, I don't go. But that's really cool. How'd you end up working here?
And well, it's kind of a long story. Yeah.
Hi, Brian.
Yes.
My wife
Hey,
actually got a job
Bud.
in Washington.
Susan, light
Third,
switch.
and
Just waiting.
Do you mind if, like, while we're doing
So we are at, we just left the Lincoln Memorial. We're at the Vietnam
doing, Liz?
Memorial.
Oh.
We're good. We've got 24 people. Hello,
starts-
world.
people
We're
start-
just welcoming everyone to the chat. I'll show. You can see how there's 27
Oh, yeah.
people, and then they just count 30
They'll give
people.
us comments.
We wait like a minute or two. Hello. Hey, Heart of Dixie.
So do you think
Brain to listen.
you were out this morning?
So we've got a national park ranger who's going to be discussing the history of the memorials around here. He's a really nice guy. His name's Ted White, and Steve will be interviewing him. It's really nice to see a lot of people are coming in. There's bigger crowds. It looks like people are coming in from the bus loads. You can see the buses in the background. It's getting packed. They're testing out the speakers for the concert right there, and it's really nice to hear the loud music and to see the people. You really start to feel like you're a part of something great that's going on.
Okay.
All right, so we have 45 people. It's growing, and they all say salute.
Oh, awesome.
So combat veterans for Trump.
So I'm gonna, and Liz, because it's a little noisy, I'm gonna have to stand a little closer, just because.
Okay.
Oh, and just so you know, if you can speak loudly, just
try
so
to
they
speak
can hear us.
loudly.
Yes,
Y'all are
that's
tall.
great. All right, so I'm Steve Lichtner, as you know, and I'm here. Is it Ted?
Ted.
And Ted,
Yeah.
Ted White. I was gonna say, can I say that? But I just did, so I'm sorry if I wasn't supposed to say that.
That's fine.
But Ted White, and you are. Tell us your official title, Ted, or who you work for.
I'm a National Park Ranger.
Okay.
I work for the Department of the Interior National Park Service.
Cool. And so we asked Ted if we could. We came to the Vietnam Memorial and we wanted to know some more about it, and we figured you want to know some more about it, and we asked Ted if he could tell us some more about it. So so we're really excited. He said yes. So Ted, for people out there who've never been here, what's some information you could give them about it that they might be interested in?
Specifically about the Vietnam Veterans Memorial.
Vietnam Veterans Memorial. Yeah. Oh, and
Well-
just so you know, if when you're talking, because we're
Yeah.
doing through a phone and it sounds terrible.
I need to face
Yeah.
the
And that's,
phone.
we just have to tell you that's our fault,
Yeah.
not your fault. So
And
yeah.
it's a little windy today.
The lighting
so-
loves you. You're in a good spot.
Yeah,
Your face is
okay.
like glowing.
All right, I'm a little blind, but that's fine as long as my face
So
is
are we.
glowing, that'll work. Yeah, welcome to the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. This is definitely one of our most popular sites that we preserve here on the National Mall. If you think about the National Mall and Memorial Parks, which is where the inauguration will take place on Friday, this is kind of like the nation's front yard. And so it's really it's special, and it was, I think, a incredibly well-deserved honor that the Vietnam Veterans Memorial is the first national war memorial of any kind to be situated here on the mall. It's kind of a surprise to a lot of people that the Vietnam Veterans Memorial was built before the Korean War Veterans Memorial, before the World War II Memorial. It sort of paved the way for those to come after. It is definitely one of our most popular sites. It is a place of healing. That is why it was built. It contains the names of 58,300 Americans who did not return from the Vietnam War.
And just so people know why we're standing here, you might say, why aren't you standing closer to it? There was a reason why we're not allowed to record anything on that right close to it. Is that what the regulation is, Ted?
It's all of our memorials are places of respect, places of places to go and meditate, and you go and be with that memorial and reflect. And so we all have our First Amendment rights anywhere. However, we do have the authority to exclude certain areas, and so like the Vietnam Wall is a place of healing. It's a place where people go and are really quiet. It's a somber memorial, so we don't allow any recording. We don't allow this kind of interviewing to take place there. We don't allow. So, for example, we have protesters in town this weekend. There are no protests activities allowed to take place there. No permitted activities allowed to take place there.
Okay, that's really interesting information.
It is.
So there are, for people who haven't seen it before, the memorial is covered with names of people who died in the Vietnam War. If I'm getting that right, correct me if I'm wrong. And
58,000.
We read online there were about 58,000 names. We were wondering. So we noticed. I guess it's maybe the thing we sort of basically noticed is it's like by year. But do you know any more about like how the names are arranged or anything about the names? Could you tell them any of those kind of things?
Yeah, sure. So another interesting thing, kind of, I'll hope you don't mind if I'm a little roundabout.
No. We love it. That's how we are.
So one of the interesting things about the Vietnam Wall, and those of you watching who were around when it was first built, you may remember the controversy surrounding the very new design. It's the first modern looking memorial. Everything up to this point, it looks like the Lincoln Memorial or the Jefferson Memorial, white marble columns. But here we have this very just straight slabs of black granite, and very different from anything that came before it. Inscribed in it simply, there was no nothing representing any human form at all, just the names of those who died. They are not arranged alphabetically. In your hometowns, you may have a war memorial where you see the names listed alphabetically, and when you get to the Smiths, you may have several rows of those. It ends up, unfortunately, in those memorials becoming a little bit like a telephone book. The designer of this memorial, Maya Lin, wanted each and every name to be personal, to really reflect that person, and so she arranged the names chronologically. They're on the wall by date of death.
Oh wow.
They wow, I didn't know that.
And you might then expect, okay, we're going to start at the beginning and we're going to go to the end. One of the controversial aspects with the history of the war is it doesn't really have this very clear-cut beginning and end like a Pearl Harbor or a VJ Day. So Maya Lin went off a list of dates of death from the Department of Defense that starts in 1959. That's the year the first 2 Americans were killed. The end date she places in 1975. Again, historians will argue over that specific time because people say, no, the troops came back in 73. She places those 2 dates, those 2 years, 1959 1975, side by side in the center of the memorial. You start in the center, you go out to the right, you come back around to the other side and back to the center. It closes a loop. What she meant to do by that was to provide American people, those who had served, their families, loved ones, provide some symbolic sense of closure for that very painful time.
And that's great. I mean, it's great information to hear that. Thank you. Obviously, I would not be able to tell them that. So that's really interesting information. And I also want to ask, when you were talking about the names and how they're chronological, so they're not just in alphabetical order. So, like, let's say somebody comes and they want to find the name. How do they do that? And do you ever get people coming up to you saying, like, I need to find this name or I want to? And, like, do you have a list or something with it? Or how does that all work?
Yeah, we have. I mean, in the early days, the memorial, it was built in 1982. If you look behind you, you probably hand by those 2 kiosks with the glass covers. Sure, yeah.
Show us those.
Probably more interesting than just standing in one spot.
Yeah, great.
So,
Okay.
these were provided when the memorial was built. It's a book with the list of an alphabetical list. So this is the finding aid to all the names on the wall. If you're looking for somebody, you look through alphabetically. It will give you then, I don't know. You have somebody that you want to find. Do you guys have any personal?
No, I didn't
So,
have
do
anything
any of the
about
viewers have anyone whose name might be on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial? If so, we would like to look them up.
That's a great idea. So it'll take about 2 seconds delay
We can do that.
for people to do that. That would be really cool.
name?
We need a
for
full
it?
name, probably.
Full name. If you have a full
There'll be a
name,
last name
Ted White will help us look them up.
to do that. Let's see. We had a last name.
That's
not
that's the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. People are commenting, but
It always takes like several seconds before it happens. Give it a second. Now, if you look
can
it
y'all
up,
hear One Direction in the background?
oh,
Barbara
Barbara Brayley. Let's try that one.
You said Barbara Brayley.
So B-R-A-L-E-Y. We got a Barbara Brayley.
Barbara?
Yeah. Now, would there are females in there?
There are eight women.
Well, if it's 8, then that would be we would know.
Oh no, that's
Oh no, that's all right. That's, we
she's a
messed you
chatter.
up. Well, let's just say
Okay.
pick a name, any name, and show us what you would do if that was the name that you would pick.
Yeah, I was kind of heading back to the W's because that's.
But he did say, if y'all heard, there are 8 women who are on the wall.
So here we go. So he's gonna pick one. And show
Yeah,
how you
I'm
do it.
just picking
Pick anyone.
White because that's my name, and there just happens to be a.
I see a Theodore White.
There is a Theodore White.
Right up here.
So you
So you
spot
find
it.
that, and you go over here, and it tells you where it is. It says like 9E128.
Which
Right.
means
Is that
east.
where it is?
There was east and
9
west.
East, line 128.
So you go 9 East is like the name of like the panel it's on.
That's the name of the panel.
Oh, very
and
wow.
the row, and you know that's the 1980s technology. Today we have these.
Oh, he's got
So
an
you-
So you
app.
have an app, and you can look it up. There are a lot of imitation apps out there. By the way, the official app is released by the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund (VVMF).
VVMF, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund, is who funds the app that is used, the official app that is used to locate people's loved ones that have been lost in battle.
So this has been really great information, Ted, and I appreciate you so much giving it to our viewers. I just wanted to also ask you personally, so you're a park ranger, and I just wanted to know, like, how does someone come to be a park ranger? Like, when you're a kid, are you like, I love parks and memorials and I want to go work at them, or how did you end up becoming to be a park ranger?
Well, I guess I would have to credit my dad. I would say I was lucky enough as a kid. My dad took me out to visit national parks, and you know, I remember one summer he took me on a drive out west, and we got as far as Utah, made it to Moab area, Arches National Park, Canyonlands. And as a little 7-year-old kid, I was just blown away by what our parks have. You know, they really are our national treasures. I kind of forgot about I never thought about it as a career at the time, and I kind of forgot about the national parks. When I was in college, I studied to be a teacher, actually, and I did teach for 10 years in the classroom, and then. After about 10 years of teaching, I was on vacation again.
Were you a history
out
teacher?
west. I actually no. I taught English. So
So you taught
One summer, we visited some national parks again, and I saw a ranger in a national park, and I said, "Wow, and I talked to a ranger like you guys are, and I realized here's someone who gets to teach, which I love to do." Outside.
Yeah.
Best of both worlds.
You're teaching all of us and everything. That's great.
And if you think about it, so maybe bringing it around full circle, we're about to inaugurate our 45th president on Friday. How cool is that? I work at the very place where that's going to happen. So I get to work in these really cool places. You can read about that in a kid's school book in a classroom. It's just not the same.
It's really neat. That's really cool. So if anyone out there, like let's say anybody out there is like a younger person or they have a child who's interested, like if you want to get a job in the National Park System, what?
Like away from the music.
Let's
Or does it- you think it'll make any bit of a
Let's
difference?
come a little over here for a second. So if somebody out there has like a child in their family or something and they think they might want to work in the National Park System, like is there anything they should do, any kind of degree they should get, or is there any kind of program they should go into?
It's a great career, honestly, for generalists, people who have a little trouble, like I did, maybe in college, deciding what they want to major in. But there's a lot of different career tracks. We've got administrators, we've got educators. We've got people like me who talk to our visitors, talk to the public. We've got people who work with wildlife, work with our cultural resources. I mean, this wall, it takes work to maintain it, to cut the grass, but also to keep it looking beautiful and clean and shiny, and keep the walkway nice and smooth. We have engineers, architects.
Well,
So really,
we appreciate all the stuff you guys do and everybody takes care of this place, because we've been walking around the last couple of days and everything's immaculate and everybody seems to be having an awesome experience with all the memorials and everything and all the areas and grounds around here. So thank you for all your service. I think it must be really cool to go to work every day and be like, I work for America's parks and memorials and monuments. I think that's a really neat thing.
Maybe it sounds corny, but we do it for you guys. This is not my park. This is all of ours. It's our shared heritage.
Great.
So.
Well, Ted, thank
do
you
it
so
for you.
much. Ted, really appreciate it. And I'm sure our viewers appreciate it as well. And have a good time coming to work at the inauguration. That sounds awesome.
Thank you.
To the viewers, we're about to switch off. Before we leave, I'd like to answer a question. We cannot do a walkthrough of the names of the soldiers. As he said, that's an area of reflection and peace, and there is no recording. And I think that's it. Greetings from Canada. Thank you, Ted. All right, a lot of people love you. All right, bye, y'all. Over and out.